So, what if there's something you haven't learned yet that could change everything? Welcome, everyone. I'm Laura DeFranco, the CEO of Brave Healer Productions Publishing, where we are helping the world experience what's possible. And here today to help me with that mission is Alessio Rizzo. And I'm going to introduce him in just a moment as a co author of one of our newest books. This is called From Burnout to Burning Bright. Let me just give you guys a little sneak peek while I can here in the beginning of this awesome interview. So there is this gorgeous book cover. I want to say a huge thank you to our lead author, R. Scott Holmes. Scott, you had a huge mission and vision for this book. And I have so much gratitude for you for bringing these amazing authors together. We're going to talk to one of them today. Alessio is leading the way in supporting inner liberation and social justice by combining IFS with energy healing techniques to create, excuse me, high vibrational boundaries. Welcome, Alessio. How's it going?
Welcome, Laura. It's going very well. Thank you for having me, and thank Scott, of course, for creating this project and leading it.
So let's start off with the big why question. Give me a little bit of the why behind the chapter that you wrote.
Yes, thank you, Laura. Well, the why is in the title. It's discrimination. I believe there is a lot of discrimination going on, and sometimes it's very difficult to even realize it. And when we are discriminated against, and a big part of the reason why I do what I do, including writing this chapter, is because I want to represent minorities and those who don't have it as easy as other people for whatever reason. I mean, particularly I identify as gender fluid, I'm queer, and I'm neurodivergent, for example. Then we can add English is my first language. I'm an immigrant. I live in the UK. So the layers of potential discriminations are many that I embody, and I want to give a message of hope and balance to people that despite what we face, there are still ways in which we can burn bright instead of burn out.
Yes, for sure there are. You take on a massive mission here with this chapter, and I'm just grateful and honored to have you here talking about it because I think that through the conversations we we need these conversations. Through them, we're going to be waking up to things. Like I said in the beginning, something you just never learned before, something that can help the world move forward in this topic. What do you want people to know about that if they need an easy step forward?
Well, kind of start trusting themselves and somehow question a bit the status quo, that there might be things happening to them for invisible reasons that have got to do with aspects of their identity that they're not aware of. And to kind of listen to that little voice that says, oh, why are other people who are at the same level as me or maybe slightly below, how are they getting the good stuff? Why are they getting ahead professionally, personally, and why am I not? And to think that there might be, sometimes kind of even unconscious shades of discrimination coming your way, and they have an impact. And if you don't start listening, you can start listening to yourself and start from there, from your truth around it.
So when I read your title, I was curious because I am not sure I've ever seen discrimination and burnout together.
Yeah, me
And
neither.
I really want people to understand it. Like, what might I start to feel if that is happening? Because I may not know. Sometimes people can
Yeah,
be on the edge of burnout for so many different reasons. um, this is a unique one, but
yeah,
they don't realize it, like you say. So, what advice do you
yeah,
want to give people about that? It's all about awareness.
yeah, yeah. Thank you. Because I'm talking about something invisible. And a piece of of me, of my story that I couldn't quite get into the chapter is when I heard something about the stress that people from minority experience for what's called non-events, for things that do not happen to you. Because we're sometimes used to the big discrimination that it's in your face, and for whatever reason, you're kind of attacked. And there is a lot of that that happens, and it's invisible. You don't see it, they don't see it, but you feel it. So it's really about understanding that sometimes things do not happen and they cause stress. There is actually research behind it. It's called minority stress theory. And the more you are part of a minority, things that would happen to people don't happen to you. For example, being a queer person, I'm not going to marry. The whole idea of family isn't happening. So it's just a big piece of joy in a way that doesn't doesn't happen in my life. And that absence causes stress. And if you accumulate stress and stress and stress, you burn out. And it's because of discrimination. So that's how the two words kind of came together, discrimination, burnout.
I appreciate the example because I was going to ask you, like, what do you mean they don't happen? Like, how
Mm,
could something that doesn't happen cause the stress? So, in that great example, it's like the absence of something that might have been happening in a different life.
yeah.
And so when you want to connect people with the awareness, are you helping them connect to a body awareness, to like a chest tightness, or tell me more about that? Or is it more
Yes.
thoughts?
Well, I'm a very embodied person. It's always everything, really, thoughts, body, and emotions and feelings. It's all interconnected. So really the invitation is for whoever is watching or listening is to find their way into this. But like I just got some kind of strange news that kind of gives me a sense of discrimination. There is a job position that I have, and now someone else has been hired with the same job title as I have because I'm perceived as male, but I identify as gender fluid. So in my system, I speak system in terms of internal family system in me, uh, something just feels off at the minute. So this question is great because I'm in the middle of something. Something is happening that I just haven't figured out. I don't know. I might be discriminated against. Why is someone else coming on board with my same job role when there's usually just one of me? Now there's two of us, and this person is female presenting. So what's going on? What's happening? So there is a sense of unease in my belly. There is some energy that doesn't know what to do with it. Like, should I be sad? Should I celebrate? Because I don't know, maybe this is an exciting experience. Should I be angry at who's made this decision? Why have you not seen who I really am? So it's in the body, but then it's confusion in the mind, and there are emotions ready to go in different directions. Does that answer your question,
I
Laura?
mean, it's just badass awareness. Like,
Yes.
I'm just speaking to the listeners now too. Like, you know, you're doing a really great job to explain so that a listener can maybe take a pause and feel that I don't know
Yeah.
inside. And
Yeah.
that's a place where they can, feel a little bit, just slow down and feel.
Yeah. And if I can add to that, it's there is the whole power dynamic. This is someone with power to give me jobs who just told me this thing. And they package it up as a beautiful, great solution. And part of me goes, yeah, yeah, great, amazing. But then, and that's the answer I give, right? But inside, it's like, really? What? What just happened? Like, and if I say no, am I going to be told to just leave the project because I'm being difficult? And this is the discrimination I'm talking about. And And if this adds layer and layer and layer, if was happening to me on different occasions, which it did last year, it would lead to the burnout I described.
Yeah, because I mean, the doubts, the fears, the what if this happens, the what if I say that, and I mean, you could feel that kind of stress, and if that's consistent, you know, yeah. Again, appreciative of your examples. So, um, in your chapter title, so it's discrimination burnout, transform your anger, set high vibrational boundaries. And you, in a minute or two ago, you talked about, you know, anger can be one of the directions that someone might want to move. Now, what do you want to tell us about that? I mean, it would be good to probably not stay angry for too long. That's a
Yeah.
poison inside sometimes, right? But how do you deal with that? It's hard.
Yeah, thank you. Well, it's about honoring the anger because there is a real reason for it. And sometimes you need to read a chapter like mine or to read within the literature around discrimination to have to go, oh, really? Yes, that's happening to me. Sometimes if it's just you don't even realize that there is a reason for you to be angry, and that's to be honored. So the beginning is the awareness, the fact that, yeah, I can hold and welcome my anger and then make sure it doesn't burn you out. It doesn't turn into some sort of deeper process. Like in the chapter, I write about how behind the anger there was a lot of fear of being left alone, abandoned. And the problem and the burnout comes when the fear kind of gets combined with when the anger gets combined with deeper fears and shadows that we carry. So the whole idea of high vibrational boundaries is the possibility to acknowledge the fear for what it is, take the light and the brightness of it, the fact that you deserve to not be discriminated, to be treated fairly. And instead of going inside and getting into all the fears, just finding ways to feel loved in a way, whatever way you know, you have, to not get into that place of despair that's behind the anger, and therefore being able to hold the boundary that's high vibrational. So instead of getting to the vibration of anger and fear, which is quite low, into social justice, liberation, or wanting to set like emotion of change, positive change, knowing that what you're doing for you is actually educating the world, and maybe someone else will have an easier life after someone listens to your story and to the boundary that you put once you're no longer kind of dwelling with all these um, difficult emotions. Is that making sense, Laura? Or am I talking a bit too technically in terms of psychotherapy here?
No, it's good. It's good. So, you know, I
Yeah.
think there are energetic boundaries. You are practicing again, we'll talk about the awareness and how you're talking about it now. It's like this internal way to shift how you are feeling it and a direction you're moving. You know, but what about a boundary that you have to set verbally? What about a boundary? Yeah, tell me more, like give me an example.
Well, thank you. Yeah, because this is about, I think we talk about boundaries as something that we need to do, right? So we think of boundary, okay, I need to say something, I need to do this. I'm talking about it's like a step before the vibration that you carry before you speak, before you set a boundary. And imagine that, if you want a boundary to be strong, you've got to be at a high vibration behind it to sustain the boundary. You can say a courageous thing once, but if you're shaking behind it, will it will it do the trick? Maybe once, but if you have done your inner work and you're not coming from fear or anger, but you're coming from alignment to social justice, alignment um, to equality, and if that's the energy behind your words or behind your actions, behind the boundary that you set, you're setting a high vibrational boundary. And it almost doesn't matter what words you use. It's going to be your presence, your energy, your awareness, your consciousness behind it. And people might be able to match it or not. Well, that's another story, but at least you're prepared for whatever happens next because you are in your power when you do it, when you set the boundary.
Yeah, fantastic. Alignment first, you guys. So I'm going to back up, talking about anger. You're having a moment, you're a little bit low vibe, and you sometimes react with a boundary, but that's not the place, right? So I love the way you're talking about this.
Mm,
Bring yourself into a higher vibrational state, and then you can set a much better sustainable boundary from there that will serve
absolutely.
you, serve the people around you, serve the topic, all the things. Yeah,
Mm.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you want to leave people with today? What's maybe the most important thing as we're talking about this particular topic that you want to leave them with?
Well, it's really at the center of all that we have discussed is this awareness, this really deep understanding of what's behind the anger, what's behind maybe the reactions and the reactivity that you're having. Because before we can high vibration boundary, we need to look inside. So what I want to leave people with is an invitation to really be curious about what's causing the burnout or these strong emotions that burn you from the inside. That is yours, that is your stuff. Maybe there's some trauma there. Maybe there is some unprocessed fears or belief systems where every psychotherapy model has got different ways of doing it. And one little thing that I think we can all do, and I say in the book, is the first step of the answer really is to connect to a form of love. Because 99 times out of 100, when you go underneath difficult emotions, anger, rage, you go to a place where there is like a smaller version of you, a young boy, young girl, a young person who is feeling disconnected from love, really, who doesn't receive love. And parents can be unreliable, but in the book, I talk about the love from Mother Earth. She's there. And that's why we are here. And if you can connect to any source of love, it's like really like it really helps the whole system. All the fears and belief systems can really release a little bit without, and of course, sometimes you might need psychotherapy or the help of a professional, but this is a particularly safe way of doing something on your own, of getting unstuck when no one can help at the moment.
What a beautiful way to finish up today. Connect with
Mm,
some form of love. That's
absolutely.
beautiful.
Mm,
Alessio, thank you so much for what you do in the world. Thanks for being here today to share it with everyone. Really, really grateful for you being in the project. Thanks for putting your beautiful, brave words into your story, your master teachings into we have an answer section in this book, The Answer.
mhm.
You guys are going to love this chapter. Alessio, thank you.
Thank you so much, Laura. Thank you for having me.
So, you guys, maybe you could tell from this conversation today, this really is way more than a book. It is a very generous community of awesome people. And Alessio is one of them. If you want to connect, please drop on down into the show notes. I have the website. Click on there, explore what Alessio is doing in the world. It's a lot of awesome stuff. And of course, we would love for you to go grab your copy of the book. You can hop over to Amazon, and the link below is there for you as well. Lastly, today, everyone, remember your words change the world when you're brave enough to share them. It is time to be brave. See you next time, everyone.